Good evening. Welcome to our post-match show of the first ODI between India and England that was played in Nagpur. And India have made a handsome start, winning it 1-0 in that three-match series. At the end of the day, the margin looks a close one because it's a 4-wicket win margin for the Indian team. But if you were to look at how India were batting, there seemed to be daylight between the two teams because England barely managed around the 250 mark. India were well on their course to reach 350. I mean, at least that's the kind of batting that they had, despite not having a great start. Plenty to talk about, some very positive things, and overall mood is going to be positive because India has won. But there are a few signs of worry as well, which we'll touch upon as we go along in our show. Welcome, Siddharth and Harshit join me. Where do you want to start from?
I think we can start from the good things.
Yeah. Where?
Yeah.
What?
Shreyas Iyer.
Let's talk about Shreyas Iyer. 19 for 2, India in a spot of bother. At that moment, 252 also looks like a tough total. One thing that really stood out for me in Shreyas Iyer's case is not only did he play a match-defining innings, but the manner in which he played the match-defining. I think that's interesting because again, he had the luxury of time. Even if he had played in gear 3, gear 4 and helped India win, I don't think anyone would have had a problem because you had that much luxury of time and chasing a small total. But what Shreyas Iyer did was walk the talk and really stamped his authority on the game with the kind of shots that he played. That was heartening to see. I know there are a lot of people and we'll get into everything, but I think we'll talk about takeaways. And for me, the biggest takeaway for the Indian team is that you have a very steady ODI team. I know there were a lot of, and I was really surprised because when we were making our 11 before this particular ODI, I didn't think that there was a debate over any spot in this team. I think this was the most obvious 11 that India would have made. And why I'm saying I was surprised is because I was reading a lot of news and hearing opinion where people were saying, oh, should you go with a Shreyas, KL, or should you go with Pant, or should you do that? I don't think there was any debate in your batting order till your 6, 7 was
till
done.
6 you knew, 7, 8 you knew that be a bit of a shuffle, which would not count for a lot because then you were talking about Axar and Jadeja, who you knew they could shuffle at any point. Today the shuffle was even bigger though in terms of one being sent ahead of a KL Rahul as well. However, you were totally in control when that happened as well. So we talked about there being a blueprint for this team, and this blueprint came from a rather successful but distasteful World Cup. Successful because you had an absolutely unblemished sort of a campaign, and you found a formula which had proven to be a winning formula as well. So we knew that this is not going to be a deviation from that formula, and that's exactly what we saw today. Yes, you could argue that you again went for that left hand right hand thing, and that's exactly why an Axar was sent when a right hander got dismissed. However, what you saw today was things that you've seen from this team in the past, and for most of these batters, I would say one can say that it's this format that suits them the most, and that's what we saw today. For a reason, we were saying that. And yes, Rohit Sharma didn't get runs. We'll talk about that as well. There was no Virat Kohli, but the others who formed the nexus of this team, your middle order that bailed you out on a couple of occasions in the World Cup as well. Today as well, job well done. 350s all coming from the middle order. That was very good to see.
I want to know, were there any doubts because in terms of batting order, I know that some people, and I don't know how they were, in our mind it was absolutely clear, would say, oh, should a Shreyas play or not, should a KL play or not. Overall, have all of those things been
I don't think so.
Nobody here said that, was there any?
I'm not saying here.
I don't think so there were any doubts at all. I think let's just not forget about it that 3 of the top 4, in fact 4 of the top 5, as far as the India's squad for the ODI World Cup is concerned, 2023, they scored over 400 runs in the World Cup, and that just happened like round about a year and a half back, even less than that for that matter. So I don't think there were any doubts. You cannot really judge this team on the basis of the 2 ODIs that they lost to Sri Lanka last year, and India just played a total of 3 ODIs, 1 was a tie. So I don't think so there were any doubts at all.
So where did the doubt, let's say for example, come about for Shreyas. And I'm saying because I was reading that, oh, you need to fit in a Yashasvi, and if you're going to do that, because, Shubman, Rohit would have been, and then Virat would have been there. So you have to fit in, maybe, remove a Shreyas. I did read a lot about it. Then, and I was shocked at that time. And then there was also that you could start with Pant and not KL. So I don't know where they came from.
I think that's what at least I feel, that fans have a tendency to mix formats. Just
Correct.
because,
Correct.
Yashasvi is doing well in Test cricket and T20I cricket doesn't mean that, he will straight away walk into the 11 as far as India's, ODI setup goes. I don't really think that, it's going to happen anytime soon, because you see someone like our Shubman Gill, Shreyas Iyer, Akshar Patel, KL Rahul performing so consistently. Rohit Sharma, he gets one good knock, and obviously, he's going to continue in the ODI setup. Let's see, how things happen. But I don't think that, fans really look at things format specific. Jaiswal is doing well in Test and T20s. Your ODI team is currently stacked. You already have a lot of players. You have great backups also. So I think that's where I think the thing comes about. And as far as Shreyas Iyer is concerned, one thing that I'll say for him, and that's what I think is really right, as for, in his discussion here, that's what domestic cricket does to you. A great season of Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, multiple hundreds in the Ranji Trophy also, and even did well in Vijay Hazare Trophy.
Vijay Hazare,
That's what confidence does to you, and that's exactly the same thing that's happening with Shreyas Iyer.
It's also the confidence of leading your side to glory as well. Be it what happened in the IPL or subsequently in the Irani, or even more subsequently in the SMAT as well. Shreyas Iyer not only was walking the talk with the bat, but he had a leadership role as well, and he delivered on that front too. So it just overall, adds to your confidence as somebody who takes to the field. Today, what was good to see was that in about 12-13 months time, the first time that he picks up the bat in international cricket, he got you runs, and he played counter-attacking cricket when the situation didn't necessarily ask for it. So that was good on Shreyas Iyer's part. Flawless 59 runs that he scored. I would say very good to see the way that he was middling the ball, and he too, one of the batters you can say really enjoys playing in the ODI format because knows his game very well.
I think 19 for 2, had India lost maybe one more wicket, they would have definitely been in danger. So I think that innings, the counter-attacking innings that he has played, obviously, I think that set up the win for India. And one thing that I really liked about his innings today was the way he countered short ball. There were a couple of pulls also, those uppercuts too. So he looks ready, not just for this series, but for the Champions Trophy. And it's not good news for Bangladesh, Pakistan and New Zealand.
Again, we've already spoken about the counter-attacking bait, which I also mentioned at the start, and my two colleagues have. For me, the other standout bait, apart from his counter-attacking inning, was the fact that he played such conventional cricket. So he's batting at a 163 strike rate, which I think is much ahead of the curve in ODI.
Yeah.
I think in ODI, a 120 strike rate is acceptable, anywhere between 110 to 120. For example, you look at an Akshar Patel inning, I think that was a perfect ODI inning, and he's operating at 110-20. A lot of time that finishes at 140-50 because you have a flourish at the end, and most batters do it, and I think that's quite acceptable. So that is something you have to accept. But what Shreyas did at 163, he reached that without playing any adventurous or outrageous shots. What I loved about him is that he hit those sixes, he hit those fours, whether it was the short ball or the ball that was pitched up. But, his game plan was pretty simple. One, I like the fact that he's batting way down inside his crease. He has that one trigger movement, moves there, and just regular cricketing shots. And I think where that stems from, overall, I think a lot of people, sometimes he gets a lot of flack for it because they mistake his confidence for his arrogance. And I was reading a few comments about him now as well, where he was just, had given an interview and where he was just talking about that, in his mind, he's the best and he doesn't. Sometimes that's taken as arrogance, but I think it's exactly that attitude where he thinks in his mind. So as I said, those doubts about whether he should be in the team or not were all from the outside. But in his own mind, he never thought about it. In his own mind, he thinks he is the part. In his own mind, he thinks he's the match winner. It is this same attitude which caused him a bit of an issue in the IPL, where he thought that he deserved much more than what KKR were retaining him from. He went to the auction, got that kind of prize money that he wanted. So sometime it can be looked at as arrogance. Sometimes he'll falter as well with that attitude. Sometimes it'll look ugly, because if you really talk yourself up and you don't perform the level at that you're talking, may look bad. But it's exactly this attitude that when you're 19 foot 2, on a given day, if you were chasing 300, he would bat like that and get you, because in his own mind, he's a superstar, which is okay if that helps you to perform. And you see it in a lot of fields, like, I'm not comparing him to Muhammad Ali or whatever, but in their mind, this is a mentality a lot of stars have, that I'm there, I'm the best, and I will perform. Doesn't matter what people are saying from the outside. You heard that remember when the short ball thing happened, he was asked about it, and he said,
in a press conference,
he said it's a figment of your imagination, and it's not something he believes in. On the outside, it may have looked like arrogance, but remember, it is that same attitude, which is why you mentioned those short pitch deliveries which he dispatched outside the boundary line, because of that attitude. So I think he is one of your mainstays, as he was in the World Cup, and he'll continue to be.
No, he was one of the top 3 run getters. If memory
500
serves me.
plus runs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Him, KL Rahul, and there shouldn't have been any question if there were any. Yes, the one thing that has changed from that time is that there was no Rishabh Pant available because of that accident that he'd suffered about 10 months prior to the World Cup. So that is why the conversation wasn't happening. But KL Rahul, for the way that he bailed you out in that first match that you played against Australia, which he scored 97 odd
Chepauk.
in at Chepauk, to the fact that he was one of your more consistent batters, making it to the top 3, it is because of batters like him, Shreyas, Virat. The way that you as a batting unit came together, there was never going to be any doubt about what that blueprint had to be for this Champions Trophy as well. So it sort of surprises me that there were people on social media having that chatter going around, questioning KL Rahul and Shreyas
Because short
Iyer.
memory,
But
because as I'm saying, recency,
it's
form, T20, that goes onto your mind.
it's
all of
rather
that.
immature, if I can be, not very harsh in my
Just a
assessment.
word on Yashasvi Jaiswal. And again, when we are saying that, for at least us here, there was no doubt about this team. There was no doubt about Ravindra Jadeja as well in the team, and because there were a lot of doubts being cast, and we'll get to the Indian bowling. But on the front of Yashasvi Jaiswal, at least I don't want to undermine it, and I don't think that this inning is in any way telling you that he's not made for ODI.
No.
Like, don't get us wrong.
Absolutely
Because
not.
Siddharth mentioned it. So all I'm saying is that this is just an aberration. I think he will, the batter that he is in Test match cricket, in ODI cricket, I think he's destined for greatness. I think he's destined for greatness even in ODI format. But if you look at the current setup, it will be tough for him to break through, because the talk will be what happens now when Virat Kohli comes out and things like that. I don't think, again, it was a dispute in my head. I think it's a no-brainer. Yashasvi then goes out. Your regular openers in Gill and Rohit Sharma will open, and Virat fits in. So it's not a comment on Yashasvi not being good. I think he'll be fantastic. But it's not that at the moment he will not fit into the scheme of things, irrespective of the 15. Don't look at that 15. Just as for, let's say, a KL Rahul, we're going to say that don't look at that 2 because of the performances that we mentioned. It's going to have a long time, and ditto for Yashasvi Jaiswal. The one question that I want to ask the two, if we saw visuals of the game got over, of Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma having a long conversation. It was not animated, but it did seem like a serious conversation. And it wasn't just a casual banter, acha khele today, It was like,
Not the kind of video that you saw of the two of them surface on social media where they had dinner together. That one's been doing the rounds as well.
I know.
Yeah, it was very contrasting from that.
It was like a serious, I'm not saying that it was an animated or an angry conversation. No, it wasn't even a fun banter. It seemed like they're discussing a serious issue, and they discussed it for a very long time. My question to the two of you, can you hazard a guess? What would it?
Yeah.
What?
Assuming, I am Gambhir, I am telling Rohit Sharma, listen, boss, you really need to get some runs. We cannot keep Yashasvi Jaiswal out for that long. But then that said, you will still be a captain for the Champions Trophy.
Ooh, you think he would be talking that now, right after the game?
No, I'm just making a guess.
I think
Just the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the conversation, the expressions didn't say that, but I think the conversation must have been a little lighter than what he said, and probably because
Didn't seem like a light.
Yeah, so
conversation.
again, a wild
we're
guess.
second guessing, but
Yeah, maybe Gambhir was just unhappy, not because of what he saw from his captain, but maybe because of the oranges that Rohit would have got. He's the local guy, oranges from Nagpur, you know.
no, but he's not got any oranges.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if he got and he
No,
didn't
no.
like
I
how
don't
those oranges
think
turned
I
out to
don't
be.
think it was as frivolous a talk as Harshit is making out to be. It had nothing to do with oranges. It was pure cricket talk, and you could make out from that expression. Again, we're no experts in body language or lip reading. 100% not, because if we were, then we would have exactly told you what the conversation. But to me, it seemed like that they were discussing cricket and they were discussing a serious matter. It could be a form of a player or other, or as he talks about Rohit or whatever. I would have thought that you'll get enough time to discuss about.
Hypothetically, as he painted like a very clear image, what would your
I think
guess
it could be one more thing.
Not as frivolous as you didn't get oranges.
And
that's
not as
for sure.
serious as that.
I am 100% sure they were talking cricket
Yeah.
and they were talking about a serious matter in cricket, and it wasn't a pleasant talk. That's
Yeah.
all I can make out.
I think one more thing it could be, and I think the Virat fans will definitely hate me for this. I think maybe they've gotten an update on Virat Kohli's injury, and probably it looks serious.
Ooh,
It could be.
that's could be. But you know, again, I saw Virat after the game. He was quite jovial and
Yeah,
bracket.
and
No,
he
but
was-
That
if he
is
was,
his usual mood now.
Yeah.
no. But if he
Yeah.
was like, it was a serious injury, I don't think it'd be that.
The way
jovial.
that he was giggling around with Hardik and
Yeah,
Jadeja,
I don't think.
it looked like
Unless I have another option.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it is Virat's for sure.
Ah.
Because Virat was so much.
Jassi.
Yes, I
Oh,
think
it could
unless
be
it is a
that.
Jasprit
Yeah.
Bumrah.
that the
update.
scan
No,
report is
but
in.
you know, I said this thing in the, I think, toss show also that we did here, that with Harshit Rana now playing ahead of Arshdeep Singh in this opening ODI, I think maybe India aren't really sure about Jasprit Bumrah's fitness for the Champions Trophy. See, any which ways, Arshdeep, if Bumrah doesn't play, Arshdeep is going to start with Mohammad Shami. That's definitely going to happen. But then there could be an opportunity in Dubai wherein you might have to play three seamers, with Harshit Rana being the third seamer there. So I think that's one of the major reasons why Harshit Rana has been given a game today.
So, okay, good that you brought that topic. I thought we'll touch
Yeah.
upon it a little later, but it says come, so let's address that. Because again, we're talking about a lot of chatter. The maximum hate actually went when the Indian team picked Harshit Rana over Arshdeep, and especially when Harshit started with that first over and getting hammered. Then people like, why would you do it? And that's exactly the thought that I had at that time. And I'm kind of in agreement with Siddharth. We'll get Harshit's view on that as well. But for me at that moment, it wasn't a surprise by Harshit there, and I'll tell you why. Quite similar to what Siddharth is saying, with a little bit of a side story to that. I felt that they picked Harshit for two reasons. One, and I think for that, all of us need to look at the larger picture and not this ODI. And so when people started outraging why Harshit is playing, they were just looking at this ODI or this ODI series. But I don't think the Indian team is looking at it like that. They are looking at a much bigger picture. For the Indian team, this series is not important. And that's the right attitude. For them, the focus is Champions Trophy. For them, this is just an audition for Champions Trophy. So what you will see here is, in a way, trying to fix things that you need sorting out before the Champions Trophy. And if that is your attitude, which I still think is the right attitude, you needed to play Harshit for the reason is that and I thought exactly that maybe you're not 100% sure about Jasprit Bumrah. Rohit Sharma addressed that in the pre-match conference, saying that we were still waiting for scans. He's not even ruled out Bumrah for the third ODI. In fact, and that's going back to that earlier discussion that his name was not in the squad. He said, listen, we're waiting for the scan. If it is available, he plays the third ODI. If not, we don't know. So if you are in a situation where you are unsure of a Jasprit Bumrah's participation, and more it may look like that he might not play, I need to see a Harshit Rana. Can he deliver the goods in ODI? Why? I did not put Arshdeep out because he's not my best bowler. He definitely is. So he's going to start in every game. I know what Arshdeep offers me. I'm 100% certain he's going to play. So him I know. But now I want to know Harshit.
Correct.
Why? Because I still have a chance to go back to a Siraj. And with Siraj also, I know what I get. I know that he's experienced. I didn't pick him because when we were looking at the combination with a Bumrah and a Shami, we were like, okay, let's go with a young pacer, out-and-out pacer like a Harshit. So we can afford to do that because we get experience in these two. And also Arshdeep, who's played enough of white ball cricket. May not be ODI, but white ball cricket. So let's go with a youngster. But as suddenly if I realize that Bumrah is out, I need experience, I may go back to Siraj. Now what do I need to do? Let me find out if Harshit is the part or not. He plays, he is the part. I'm not going back to Siraj because Rohit had mentioned earlier only that the reason they went beyond Siraj is because death bowling seemed to be an issue.
Correct.
They needed a bowler who can bowl in every scenario. And Harshit does that very well for KKR in the IPL. So I know that I get that, but I want to see whether it will happen in the international scenario or not. So I've picked Harshit, and I think that was the reason. That was one. And secondly, which I thought could be a backup reason, is the fact that you were playing on red soil here in Nagpur. Right soil, you get that extra bounce. And these are the thoughts that I had in the toss. And sure enough, how is Harshit picking up his wicket? With that extra bounce that he got, which that red soil pitch gives you, and he got you those wickets. So it was a smart choice. It's a choice looking into the future, maybe giving us an indication about Jasprit Bumrah, and also based on conditions. So they went with Harshit, and lo and behold, with all the abuse that may have been flying around for not playing an Arshdeep and him, it all got sorted later when he came back for his second spell.
Yeah, I think in Dubai conditions, we specifically talk about India did play an Asia Cup there in 2018. They've played, many T20 matches there. Usually under lights, if we talk about the Abu Dhabi conditions, obviously no match of CT is going to be held there. But then, there's a lot of help for the bowlers, both spinners and pacers. What if, the pitches are like that, or what if, the conditions are like that there's a little bit of breeze, maybe slight cloud cover, something that's usually not there in Dubai. But then, if there are, India's bowling under lights, there's a chance that India might just go in with 3 specialist seamers. You have Hardik Pandya as a 4th pace bowling all-rounder and 2 spinners. I think that combination can still do very well for India. So just going by that perspective, assuming Bumrah is unfit, it made sense to play Harshit today, because any which ways, Arshdeep will start for India.
Not a lot to add in terms of why Harshit, because I think you two very beautifully said the cricketing aspect of it. I just, on a lighter vein, will say that maybe you just want your impact sub, your concussion sub to also get some game time.
That was a good one.
So yeah, maybe that's the reason.
Okay, possible to put an end to that controversy. Okay, now the elephant in the room. Siddharth touched upon it. We spoke about discussion, what the discussion could have been. One, Bumrah, so we've touched upon that. Siddharth mentions Rohit's form.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I think it's a worrying sign. The dismissals are actually a worrying sign. That's what at least I feel.
See, why do you say it's a warning sign? Because again, aren't then we being guilty of mixing formats? Because I know he's not gotten runs in red ball cricket.
Yeah, yeah.
But white ball he has, and he's just played one match.
Yeah, obviously he has played one match, but I think you talk about the 7 balls that he was there on the crease. Let's not talk about the 7th ball, because that was when he got dismissed. On the first 6 balls, I think this is one thing that I said in one of the previous dugouts also, that Rohit and Virat, irrespective of, not irrespective of the format, but specifically the way they have gone about their work in the last 3 to 4 months or so, I don't really feel that kind of confidence when I see them bat. And that is what
Even in this format.
Yeah.
And
Even
in
in this
ODI
format.
cricket.
India
I mean,
have-
Rohit last ODI big tournament, 2 big tournaments, your 2023 World Cup and your T20 World Cup. So
Yeah, that's why I
In
mentioned.
fact, Siddharth, the Sri Lanka series, he was the highest run scorer.
Yeah, he was.
Across both
not saying
teams.
much. Nobody scored any runs.
I get that. I'm just
basically
saying. So
talking
he was
about
the
the last
second
3-4
highest in the
months.
World Cup.
Yeah, I know.
After Virat Kohli, he was the second highest
I'm
run
just
scorer.
talking about the last 3-4 months.
Last 3-4
And yeah,
months.
India have just played red ball cricket in that case.
But you're again, I'm cutting you short, but the reason is you're mixing formats. We know which
Yeah,
format.
yeah.
That way, I was looking at this one number which suggests that across formats, last 16 innings that he's played, he's averaging just about 10 right now. His highest score is 18. So that's not saying much about Rohit Sharma, the batter. If your highest score is 18, maybe the average is in fact even lesser than that. So, but this format, I have no doubt. Yes, the one thing was that again I saw a leading edge of Rohit Sharma, something that I saw in Test match cricket
That's
as
an
well.
important point that he makes.
Exactly. See, my only point here is that I know that I'm mixing formats, because I have to mix formats, because India have predominantly played, red ball cricket in the last 4-5 months or so. That is where, you feel that a general opinion that I can, probably think of, or, what I felt after witnessing him bat. I don't think he looked assured even on the 6 balls that he faced.
A couple of them
That
he did,
is-
the time that he, planted
That
his
I'll agree with him.
foot on the...
Though it's only a one match.
Yeah.
It's only a one match, and I am not going to be worried about Rohit, because as I said, his white ball form has been very good. The only thing that worries me, I'm not looking at the test matches. That's fair. Siddharth's looking at it differently, and there's no way to say whether he's right or I'm right or you're right. It's a different perspective, right? What did we hear about? There's that quote today, na? नजरिया बदल क्या? What was that?
Uh,
नजर
it
बदल
went
सकते हो
like
नजरिया नहीं, something
हाँ
like that.
कि नजर बदल सकते हो नजरिया नहीं.
I don't know, something like that. Anyway, getting back to the point. So each of us are looking at it differently. How I'm looking at it is that I'm not looking at red ball because I think white ball is still good. But I will agree on Siddharth on the fact that his state today didn't inspire confidence, and that's what I've said about
Correct.
Rohit earlier. I have a personally, if you ask me, I think he'll have a good white ball season going ahead, especially in ODI. He's going to captain your team and he'll get runs. But the only thing I know about Rohit is that he's a rhythm player. I mentioned earlier, he needs a knock or two to get him going. And I just hope it doesn't take a few games for that to come, because you don't have too many games. You're only playing this series, and Champions Trophy, 3 games essentially will tell you whether you're going not, and those 3 games could be crucial. So not too many games for you to be in rhythm. So because he's a rhythm player, I hope he gets that one good rhythm knock where he times everything, and then I'm pretty much sorted with him, because Virat is different, right? You know that he'll dig his heels in, will fight it out, will get you runs in ODI cricket. Rohit, that's slight different, but I agree that his stay today didn't inspire confidence.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried with it.
And any which ways, I think India are not going to make any change until the end of the Champions Trophy, unless Rohit gets out on multiple ducks. Now that's going
No,
to be.
I don't
then,
think they will.
even then.
But
Yeah.
that reminds.
Even then, despite that, in the middle of the tournament, you really think in what will be a 5-match tournament for you, you'll make a change because the captain's not getting. Again, like I said yesterday as well, what is ultimately going to decide his future is also how India, how the tournament or campaign pans out for India. What if he leads India to the ICC trophy, which is also, something that you lost the last time you played in the final.
Yeah.
So all of that is dependent. Rohit may have a dismal tournament, but India may win the Champions Trophy, and that gives him another year or two. Who knows?
No, I don't think it will. As again,
But it will buy him some time for sure.
It's a hypothetical debate. We don't know. But I
Yeah.
think he'll have to get runs. And I believe that he'll get runs.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only thing now, again, am I looking at it? One is his stay on the crease today. Pawan, can you also help us out with what Rohit spoke at the end of the game? If we can read it, that will also help us, tell you what is his...
What he feels about his knock. Yeah.
thought process right now. But the other thing
Yeah.
that I'm a bit worried about, okay, this is what he said. He says, I'm pretty happy. We all know that we are playing this format after a long time. I thought right from the beginning we played as per expectation. They started well. We wanted a lefty in the middle. It was as simple as that. We know they will spin it back into the left-hander, so we wanted a lefty. He's talking about that change. Gill and Axar batted brilliantly. Nothing specific overall as a team. I just want us to keep doing the right things as much as possible. Okay, so he's not really, he's just spoken basic stuff, not spoken on his own form. So coming back to what I think is the other issue that I see right now.
With Rohit?
Yes, not just about the rhythm, is he in the right frame of mind?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. 2 things that I noticed. That happened in the press conference before the game was to start. And why I'm saying is because that is so unlike Rohit. I've seen him since the time he made his debut till now. He's obviously had ups and downs in his career, but one thing you know about him, that he's taken it in his stride. He's a happy-go-lucky, some may say laid back, whatever you might call it. But that's one thing that's been constant with him. He never gets really irked or troubled, even like in the serious thing. Even in press conference I've been there, he's been asked tough questions, he'll reply, he'll have a funny answer, or he'll just avoid it.
But there was an exception just a day back.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm seeing different now is that press conference, and not once, it happened twice.
Yes.
First, that question that was asked to him, that, are you happy to be back in a format that's given you this title of Hitman after a disappointing test series? Now, I agree that the question wasn't framed very well. Even I thought that the question was slightly offensive, to which Rohit replies, but typical Rohit would have been, yeah, why you, why are you mixing formats? Test cricket is finished. No, it's gone back. Let's look at ODI. He brushes these things aside in a very casual manner, takes it in his stride. But he said, what kind of a question is that? Which is not so Rohit-like.
Yeah,
Okay, that was the first bit. Secondly, when he was asked about the report, which is something, I repeated again, which we mentioned first on Sports Today, that he had been spoken to, his future depends on Champions Trophy. When he was asked about that, he said that, reports keep coming, a lot of them, what can I say about it? I don't want. But he did not see outright also either you would have seen a humorous side of Rohit come out there as well, or it would have been a straight-faced Rohit where he would have rubbished it, saying, no, there's nothing.
He didn't quash it.
Yes, he didn't quash the report, and I don't think he was very comfortable. So my only thing is, and this is just again us seeing it from the outside, I do feel that he's feeling the pressure that there is a deadline given to him, whether it's the Champions Trophy. He knows that it may all be dependent on that. He is staring at an uncertain test future for sure. We know that he has ambitions of captaining the Indian team for 2027, and he has all the right to do that. But now knows that this tournament becomes important, not only him as a captain, but also as a batter. And I wonder whether that's playing on his mind. Because if it is, then my confidence of Rohit getting a lot of runs then diminishes. As I said, I think he'll get runs in ODI cricket. He's that good a player. He's just a rhythm player. But but that's because Rohit, the previous Rohit that I knew, who could take these things in stride, very happy. He's a very nice, down-to-earth guy next door sort of a fellow. And that's the endearing quality about him, which we all like, and I think it plays out on the field. But if that's changed, then I'm beginning to wonder whether my assessment is going to be 100%.
I think if that's actually a worry, then there is basically, this is basically an addition to the worry that's basically already there in Rohit's game, the batting is concerned. I think he first of all needs to figure out as to how he can play a long innings, and by long innings I'm not really talking about 100, 150 balls. It's basically about sticking around for 70, 80 odd balls also, because if it does not happen in the remaining 2 ODIs and the Champions Trophy, it's going to put a lot of pressure, in fact extra pressure, on Shubman Gill to always just play the anchor role, even on Virat Kohli also for that matter. So I don't think it's really good signs for India. Rohit needs to get some runs. Even if he gets a 30 or a 35 odd in the second ODI, I don't think that it's going to be good signs. I would still say that until or unless he gets a good 50, 60 or 70 odd, I would say Rohit's form is the biggest worry for India.
Okay, turning our attention to the other discussion point in this game, we've touched upon Shreyas Iyer. We've spoken about the lack of form of Rohit Sharma. Why is it that they went with Harshit over Arshdeep? The other point is, which has been a big debate, Axar Patel coming in to bat at number 5 ahead of KL Rahul. Thoughts?
This whole left hand, right hand thing, you understood it was the spinners who were bowling at that point, and you wanted to negate that ball coming in, which is why you, as Rohit also said, you sent Axar ahead of KL Rahul. But my whole point being, and why I have a little bit of a problem with that is, because if that's the way you're thinking, then you will be tempted at some point to bring in a Rishabh Pant in that middle order as well, and sacrifice a KL Rahul who has given you runs. So I have a problem with that whole philosophy, because the time that you start treading on that road, all you need is half a reason, and there you bring in somebody who's on the bench. And as we say in cricket, the person sitting on the bench always looks prettier than the one who's in the 11. So I have a problem with that thought process. The idea was clear. You knew that if the idea was to give impetus to the innings and you'd taken the shackles off Axar and the mandate was go, just get these runs quickly for us. Don't have to think about anything. There's no other reason. Just go, bat it out there the way that you want to. Get us over the line quickly. That would have been more heartening for me to hear than this whole spin point, because the moment you start doing this, 2 matches, and then you start looking at Rishabh Pant, and that becomes a problem for me.
That's a valid point. Actually, I didn't think of the repercussions on Rishabh Pant. But on the whole, for today, I didn't see any reason, to criticize that. There is a reason you're playing those 2 all-rounders, no? Because you, on a given occasion, can send them at any moment. Today, as you saw, that it was kind of getting tough with, 2 bowlers taking it away from the right-hander, and they thought that let's send a able batter in Axar Patel, who's been outstanding. Dare I say, I think even Jadeja is an option, because if it was T20 cricket, then I would have said eyes closed, Axar is a better option. You have to send him because he can actually operate on that higher strike rate than Jadeja. But in ODI cricket, the operating area that Axar operated with at 110 today, I think even a Jadeja can do that job on a given day. But I think because Jadeja had a better day with the ball, so they thought let's go with Axar and utilize his batting form. But they have 2 options to do that. So maybe if they can utilize that option, and by which it means you can push in a Rahul and a Hardik Pandya, I see nothing wrong in it, because that's begin to happen more and more in white ball cricket, whether it's T20Is or ODIs, that you'll have those kind of batting that on a given situation you'll send anyone, and you have the luxury of doing that. So no harm in doing that. There's no hard and fast rule, right? You bring in a KL Rahul someday or a Hardik Pandya down there, even a Jadeja Axar someday can. So this then will avoid that situation where you are unfair to a KL Rahul and you don't do it because you have two very capable all-rounders.
I'm taking it for today because, you know, you were in a comfortable position. You did that also because you were in a comfortable situation. If this was even more precarious for you,
you could still do it. That's what I'm saying. That's how good your two all-rounders
they are. Not casting any doubt about their quality. But my whole problem is that the gateway will then open up, like I said, and I'm worried about KL because that's how unfair life has been to him at times. So I'm just...
Ashwath isn't here.
Yeah. No, I think I completely agree with you here. First of all, really happy that Akshar Patel got much needed batting time. Secondly, I think what it does is that KL gets one more failure. You'll think about having, you'll probably think about having Rishabh Pant back in the ODI mix.
No, again, you just spoke about this is a set batting lineup. All of them are getting runs. You need all of them to be given a longer rope. And whether it was a Shubman, again, people are saying, no, remove Shubman, why you made him vice captain, Yashasvi. But you showed, what he can do. People are saying, remove Shreyas, you can fit in some. He showed you what to do. So, and KL also has been doing that in ODI cricket. Why do you have to panic after every inning, every 2 innings? You have your team set. You should just go with that. Continue doing that. In a long term, if you've reached a situation after 5-6 innings, nothing has happened, then you think about it. Yeah. Backup should only be called about then. Every 3 match, if you start using backups, or every 2 match, I don't think that serves the purpose. True. The other bit on Ravi Jadeja, because there were a lot of doubts about Ravi Jadeja. Did Ravi Jadeja, the bowler, tell you why he is such an important cog in the wheel for the Indian ODI team? Because just as we forget on mixed formats for other players, we also forget and mixed format as to what Jadeja has done in ODI cricket and what his value is in ODI cricket. You can take in a lot of all-rounders, but as I said, you need wicket-taking all-rounders. And if between your 3 all-rounders, spin all-rounders in Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel and Jadeja, eyes closed, Jadeja is the wicket-taking option. Rest can give you overs, but they can't pick up as many wickets. What record did he make? 600 wickets today?
Yeah.
Across format.
I think in case of Jadeja, I never had doubts regarding his bowling ability in the white ball format, specifically ODI format. The only problem, and I think I have also mentioned this earlier, that if you are 250 odd for 5, batting first in a crucial Champions Trophy game, who would I rather want to have at number 6 or number 7? It would always be Akshar Patel ahead of Ravindra Jadeja because of his ability to hit sixes.
But you can't, as I said, in ODI cricket, if T20 where you need to operate 200 strike rate, I agree. Yeah. But this is ODI cricket.
But in last 5 overs, you need sixes.
So I'm not talking about last 5 overs. No, you need to set. By the way, it's not that Jadeja cannot. You don't expect him to play that inning throughout. Yeah. But if last few overs, maybe he can too. More often than not, your batting in ODI cricket will revolve around 110, 120, 130 strike rate. Majority will function. I think he can. Secondly, if you are going to just be picking bowlers and their batting abilities, then who's going to do the bowling job? You need bowlers to do that as well. Nah? True. How is it that... So, you'll have to strike a balance. If you're playing 2 all-rounders, both cannot be just batters. Who's going to do the bowling job? So you need wicket-taking bowlers. That's why I've said, if you have an option of a wicket-taking bowler who can, you've got already 6 batters, no? You're already going with that. On top of that, now you need, backup at 7 and 8. Now in a 7 and 8 also you say, I want batting more than bowling. Then who's going to do the bowling at all? So you will have to strike a balance, which is why I'm saying that the balance that I get with a Jadeja is far superior than with an Axar or a Washington. Because these are the ones that will compete. Because Kuldeep and Varun Chakravarti will have a different fight. We're not giving you anything with the bat. But in this, the balance, and there could be a, somebody is 55% in something, 45 in other, somebody is, 60 in something, 40 in other, and I know that. But I'll have to pick which is the one that I think that I want more. And that's why I think Jadeja, you need wicket-taking bowlers in the middle.
Also his experience, I think when you compare all 3, Jadeja with far more experience of playing in these big competitions as well. I don't think his place in the 11 is because of his experience, though. It is because of his skill set, as it should be. I'm just saying experience is just something extra that he's peppered with at the moment, and that puts him ahead of the other. Because Jadeja has seen the highs in ICCs and the lows as well. He's seen those early exits. So he has the experience that you need, especially at this point where you're trying to, the Indian team is trying to pivot from the highs of last year. It will come with its own set of expectations, and you will need somebody like a Jadeja. If it's not 250 for 5, if it is 150 for 5, tell me who do you want then, a Jadeja or an Axar? So the situation can be reversed the way the way that you like, and I think I will be wanting a Ravindra Jadeja. However, if you ask me, I am happy in my 11 when I make that the both of them play together as they did today.
Yeah.
Okay, final topic that we're going to touch upon before we take your question is that of Shubman Gill. Again, your vice captain, people are mixing format. He's also told you that there is a reason that you've picked him as a vice captain today.
Yeah, he has, I think, scored majority of the 87 runs on one leg. He had suffered cramps also. I don't think his place in the ODI 11 was ever
in doubt.
Ever.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this knock just proves it that he is here to stay. He could very well be your next ODI captain also. And I think one thing that I really liked was that initially, when the team sheet came, he was slotted in at number 4, Shubman Gill basically. But now that he's batted at number 3, another different role for him, knowing that Kohli wasn't there. I think he's taking
virtually
all
became
boxes.
an opener today.
Yeah, virtually became an opener. But
And he's going to be opening.
Yeah.
might
Yes.
just happen with
You
Virat.
see,
only.
Forget the left hand,
He
right
faced
hand.
the
whatever.
new ball, which was just, otherwise he would have faced those 7 deliveries.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Agreed. I mean, the future looks bright. Whenever that is, you'll have a Yashasvi Shubman opening.
Absolutely.
Year
There
down
could be
the
an
line,
Abhishek Sharma in the mix too.
2 year down the line. Yeah. It's for me the shot of the match, and though Shreyas Iyer played some fantastic strokes, but that one, I think he had that punch of a short ball
Yes.
from off stump. Shubman,
Yes,
got
yes,
through
yes.
mid wicket. Oof, gorgeous. That's the thing that Shubman has, huh? Okay, we're going to just touch upon a few questions that we've been sent. We'll start with Dhanush. He says, 2 number 4 batters, ODI and T20 specialist. T20 specialist, consistent 2 years captain. ODI specialist, consistent August 2019. Don't get 10% request T20 specialist.
I was talking about Shreyas Iyer, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
one
August-
is an ODI specialist, which
Yeah.
is Shreyas. One is a T20 specialist. Number 4, that is who? Rishabh was at 3.
Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yeah, Sky
I think
was
he's talking
4.
Yeah.
Sky.
Specialist, consistent 2 years captain. ODI specialist, consistent from August 29. But he doesn't get even 10%. So he's saying Shreyas doesn't get the kind of respect that Sky does.
Shreyas Iyer has been India's unsung hero in the ODI format in the last 5 years or so.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah, and he's had good T20 numbers as well. See, I think what really hampered him was that time where he was sent into exile, where he said he could not play.
And those
30,
dismissals
deliver.
to spin that happened as well.
A short pitch bowling as well, even though he
Yeah.
kept denying.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, as I said, even at that time. Doesn't matter how you get out. If you're getting runs, weakness doesn't matter. But now he will fight for it, even though the T20 setup is quite crowded. I know Sky is not getting runs, but you're not going to keep changing things like that. But he will also be pushing for it. It's going to be interesting times ahead. I agree. Rakesh Bhushan. Why the need of Yashasvi Jaiswal to flash continuously outside the off stump? Why Rohit is playing across the line when these two had to cement their place in 5 runs per over asking rate? Why can't these players grind and get into form? Why this flashiness? With Yashasvi, I'm okay with him playing the way he does. I mean, we're nitpicking, right? This is the thing that's made him successful. So I think let's continue. It's his first ODI knock. Come on, Why start scrutinizing him? He's been your standout test player in the year gone by. T20s also, we've seen how good he is. So for Rohit, I agree. Maybe Rohit could spend some time. See, as I said, he's a rhythm player. Why the rush to get into things? Take your time. You have enough balls. Today you needed 5 and over. Enough time. Once you know how good he is. He gets those 15, 20. From there on, if he has a charge to the bowlers, he'll get you a big total. And I'm not saying you should always be like that. I liked his approach in the 2023 World Cup and the 2024 T20 World Cup, where he was attacking right from the word go, but he was coming in with a lot of form. Now that's not the case. So give yourself some time. Yeah. Why not? Priyanshu, one thing is clear. Pant won't play. They will promote Axar as a lefty. So he's looking at it very different to what you are, Harshit, and that's fine. It's a fair comment. He's saying our ODI team is good. We should back them. Just somehow Rocco should score. And yeah, Brooks to Virat, Sachin, Bolkif. I agree. Brooks, I think. But I said at that time, Brooks, Indian conditions, we saw him in the IPL. There's a long way to go before you compare him to Virat or Sachin or whatever. That I agree. As for his overall comment on the ODI team, I think that's exactly what we started our show with. That ODI team, top notch. Has always been, we said it even before the series started, let's not mix format, let's not look at test cricket. Your ODI team is such a stable, set team. Just back them. There'll be a few failures here and there, but your balance is right. You are the, again,
it's a well-oiled machine.
You were the best team in the 2023 World Cup. You were
on paper.
Barring that one final.
Barring that one catch, maybe.
No, same was the case in 2019. Just had 40 bad minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. GGK, best batting unit, Gill at 3. Virat deserves to be dropped. No, GGK, again, I'm not going to take your comments.
He made the same comment in the mid-match
He comes with bias. My friend, I know that today of your fan armies would have had a field day. I knew it. And it started as soon as Virat pulled out. One side of the fan army started. As soon as Rohit got out, the other side. And that's what they all keep doing. Come on, man. You were talking of dropping. Even now, one of the best ODI players, if not the best on the planet. Even now.
Goes without saying.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying people will look at test form and all that. No? He is
I
best
said
in the
that
business.
yesterday. You see, since 2020, his ODI average is 51. You will take that
GGK.
all 365 days of the year.
I know you're a Rohit Sharma fan, and that's great. We are also Rohit Sharma fans. But that doesn't mean you have to be a Virat Kohli hater for that. And that comes across, I'm sorry, in your comment.
Yeah. Shubham Garg has a comment that Shreyas is really good, but I would like more consistency from him. In World Cup, he scored runs in semis versus South Africa, but failed in final. And versus Australia, New Zealand, England in group stage.
So there you just answered your own question. He got runs, but every match he can't. Nah? Got runs when it's final, so nobody got you runs. And even the runs came, they didn't come in the manner that you wanted them to. So let's not.
Killing Queen has a comment that what is your order in terms of purely on bowling potential out of Hardik, Jadeja, Axar? Do you bowl any one of them in crunch scenarios and expect them to get wicket or run through sides when needed? I think in case of Hardik, it has been proven that he can bowl with both new ball and old ball also. He can even bowl at death. We haven't really seen him, bowl much in the death overs as far as ODI cricket is concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, he can definitely do it if
but
required.
He does it in T20, which is tougher. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He does, but it's a mixed bag when he bowls at the death in T20s.
Yeah.
No, but he did well. Yeah, I mean we were talking
29
about
June.
I know, but the whole of IPL that he was bowling at the death as captain, that cannot be forgotten either.
True. And in case of Axar, I think he can also bowl with the new ball. Just in case of Jadeja, I think he specializes in bowling in middle overs. So that's the thing.
No, but again, if he's asking us to rank, I think in terms of wicket taking, Jadeja is first.
Yeah,
then Hardik,
definitely.
then Axar.
Akshar Patel.
Simple as that. Sarat Chandra, Nikhil sir, what will be the changes in second ODI from continuity point of view? All of us all want just two changes: Kohli, Arshdeep in, and Jaiswal, Harshit out. ODI for Varun to select for champion trophy isn't right, so leave him out. See, okay, let's discuss one by one, and of course we'll have the dugout. We will discuss in detail. So I'm not getting into the nitty-gritties, but I'm okay with even Harshit playing now. Arshdeep, I know what he gives me. I'm fine. So maybe I'll give him the last game. I need to see Shami as well. By the way, he looked very good. Again, in ODI format, that same seam movement, landing on the money, moving it out, too good.
In fact, there was this one time during the match that I didn't actually see. So when they show you the replay, they show you just the bowler's arm and the ball leave the arm of the bowler. Today, I just saw this one grab in which you could see the seam movement absolutely straight as an arrow. And it's, you can tell who the bowler was.
Yeah. The only thing I was a bit worried about, I think after 3 overs or so, he went and sat in the dressing room. So I hope his fitness levels are. I mean, bowling
Yeah.
4 overs in T20 was different. I need to see him bowl a bit more, but of course you need to go with him. And of course Virat comes back. So
Only one change for me. If Virat is fit, he comes in for Jaiswal. Rest the same team.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Right on
Arshdeep
cue.
last game. Maybe you could rest someone like Shami and then get her thing and just rotate between
Yeah.
the three. Because as I said, this is more of an audition rather than concentrating on winning this series. Okay, Shubham says, Nikhil sir, Hardik does well in death when pitch is too pace, but on flat decks, Hardik goes for a lot. In IPL, Wankhede, Hardik goes for 14, 15 in death. But truth be told, Shubham, in the IPL, in the death, 14, 15 became a norm with everyone. Even your stalwarts, just leave Jasprit Bumrah aside. Arshdeep would get hammered on occasions.
Yeah.
So, became very tough at the Wankhede. So, you are very unlucky if you're a bowler in the Wankhede and asked to bowl in the death. Yeah, new ball is fun. Ball will move, you'll get a few wickets. But otherwise, it is tough. Okay, Priyanshu says that do check out the comments of Shreyas Iyer in the post-match. So if one is kind enough, he can just click on that. Na? Yeah, you may have it. No? Acha, we don't have it.
Refresh.
I was with the broadcaster, so maybe
Okay,
that's
we will check that out. Okay, no problem. R. Prasad says, hi Nikhil, Prasad from Dubai. Are you coming for Champions Trophy? Yes, Prasad. Please let me know. I thought would like to treat you with the best mutton biryani, though I'll see kulcha today. New kulcha. Okay, Prasad. This is a done deal. I'm there and I love a mutton biryani. So I look forward to you treating us to some mutton biryani. Catch us at the ground. You know where we will be when you'll see our lives. And we'll let you know where we're staying. So please come. I have to say that in all our trips, the viewers have been so kind. They get us the best food, whichever part of the. It becomes like we have to say, nahi yaar, aaj nahi, we have to go somewhere else. But food is taken care of. Please do that. Shall we take the final comment before we wind up? Freaking awesome says, I think Sai Sudarshan suits more than Abhishek Sharma for ODIs in the future. He's played really well in South Africa too, but everyone forgot about it. I agree with freaking awesome. I think Sai Sudarshan grossly underrated. He's on the fringes, but you're right. He could be a better ODI batter.
Yeah.
Really like him.
He even opened in that South Africa series that you played shortly after the 2023 ODI World Cup.
Okay, Harshit, you want to answer?
I know you'll put a timer on me.
Yes. Well, quickly, Harshit, go ahead. Siddharth asked you.
Siddharth is asking that after Mourinho, Ole, and Eric Ten Hag sacrifice, it required a mere 40-year-old manager. He's talking about Ruben Amorim over here to end player at Manchester United. How do you see Rashford? There's too many questions there. And Amorim's grueling 3 at the back system. Let me answer the most important bit, which is the Rashford loan, because that is something that many people have asked me.
You pass it on to us. I said he didn't fit in there. Yeah, he won't even make the
In fact,
B team.
It's
He
very
won't even
interesting.
make the B team.
There
See?
was a time, in fact, not just this transfer window, that Barcelona were excited
There is
about
there-
him.
there doesn't
However,
make the
how I
B
look at him,
team.
because he's an academy boy, has been backed by, I vividly remember his debut against Arsenal, scored that brace as well. It doesn't feel nice, Siddharth, to see, one of your own kids who you backed so much year after year, despite the inconsistency in him, to see an end of sorts to his career at Manchester United like this, and I see him not returning as far as a comeback is concerned. But I think the right call has been made when you're playing for United and what you're wanting to do going forward. You can't have these players who show you flashes and you don't see anything after a point. You need consistency. You need some high quality players. A lot of indiscipline reports as well with Rashford. And I'm here to back Amorim. Yes, it's a whole new style that you're adapting to, and it will take its own time. Some of the players will be sidelined and all of this. But for now, because he's got that record and reputation that he comes in with, willing to back him to the hilt.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah. On that note, we'll take your leave. I hope you enjoyed the game, and more than the game, you enjoyed spending time with us on Sports Today. What do they have to do is subscribe,
Yeah.
show us some love, give us a like on our video. It's the least we ask for. Yes, you guys want to say something? No? Yes, thank you for reminding. You guys take care. Good night.
Shubh Ratri, Shabba Khair, Nandri, eat your vegetables and don't trouble your mother. Bye bye.